Hello and welcome to Everyday Tarot, your daily dive into the divine wisdom of the tarot. I'm your host, Camille A. Saunders, healer, tarot reader, and professional witch, and today I'm talking about the From the Grave spread. Whether you're a seasoned tarot reader or just starting to explore, this podcast offers daily insights, intuitive messages, and practical advice drawn from the cards. Each episode is designed to help you connect with your inner wisdom, find clarity in your decisions, and tap into the energy of the universe. Tune in every day, Monday through Friday, for fresh perspectives and empowering guidance from the tarot as interpreted by me. If you love the show, the best way to support it for free is by listening daily, leaving a review, and subscribing or following in your favorite podcast app. If you love the podcast and want to support it further, you can join the Everyday Tarot Patreon family. Some of the benefits include getting an individual card pulled for you or even a one-time individual 5-card reading. I recently recorded an hour-long video episode for the new moon that we welcomed in on October 21st, 2025. If you missed the live, you can check out the New Moon Collective Tarot reading replay. I do, again, like a long new moon, a collective tarot reading, which just means it should be somewhat applicable to everyone each new moon. And that is a really fun way for me to get to celebrate the new moon. So sort of like planting seeds energy. And I love doing collective tarot spreads. So that's a really fun one. And you can watch me on video, different than just listening. I also created a queer coven spooky tarot spread recently. It's Halloween and queer themed with a cute bat and like purple and black themed. I created this as part of the Queer Joy Summit that I participated in a couple weeks ago, but now I want to give everyone a chance to grab it, even if you weren't a part of the summit. So I'll have the link in the show notes if you want to grab that. For me, Halloween and spooky season, Samhain, Day of the Dead, All Souls Day is all sort of like, it's not a single day. It is the spirit of this time of year. And at least for me, that will probably go all the way through until the next full moon at the beginning of December. So that is how I like to view it. So there's still time. You can still do a spooky tarot spread. It's allowed. I was recently on Kayla Moore's Connected Pleasure podcast, which is so much fun. You can check out my episode of Kayla's podcast where we talked all about living by the body, dreaming of land, and weaving the future, where I talked about moving onto the land I currently live on and all sorts of future things. And it was so much fun. Kayla and I are getting to know each other better, so that's been really fun. And Kayla was also on my podcast. If you want to hear all of the guests that have been on my podcast, please send me more recommendations or come be a guest on the podcast itself for yourself. I welcome anyone. You do not have to have an extensive tarot background. You could be tarot curious, have never picked up a deck. I would still love to talk to you. So if anyone's interested, I'll have the link in the show notes to be a guest on the podcast. Or if you don't want to be a guest, but you know someone else that might be interesting to have on the podcast or that you would love to hear or love to hear me interview, you can always email me, me@CamilleASaunders.com, just their contact info or their name, and I'll do my best to get a hold of them because I want to put out a whole guest season and I don't have enough people yet because I like all my seasons to be 13 episodes ideally. So if you want that to come out by the end of the year, which I'm hoping it will, probably it will be the last season of the year, then help me get more guests so I can put that out as soon as I have it. If you want to work with me more directly and perhaps you don't live local to me, I am kicking off my Tarot for Transformation monthly workshops, which are going to start in January 2026. We're going to be deep diving all the major arcana cards, probably. We're going to start with the first 12 next year to discover our best selves and create a life worth living. If you're interested, you can sign up for more info. This is not a commitment in any way. I'll just send you kind of the information, what I'm hoping to do, when the workshop was going to be, how long. Sorry, I just brushed the mic. What we're going to be doing. And yeah, we're going to start with the Fool in January, which perfect. New year, new tarot spread, new tarot card, starting at the beginning and talking about really deep diving into every card. I am going to dress up as every card, so get excited for that. We're going to be on video. It's probably going to be like a 2 to 3 hour workshop. If you can't join live, no worries. If you sign up, you'll get the replay and all the other materials I create as long as the recording. Yeah, and I'm just so excited to really deep dive into each of the major arcana cards. Again, I did a whole major arcana 2 seasons at the beginning of my podcast. But you know, that was a while ago. I got to do one card. It's so hard to just talk about one card for a little bit. Or I guess it's so hard to not talk about them forever. That's how I actually feel. It's very easy to talk about every card. But the major arcana ones have so much depth, and I really want to think about how do we embody an archetype? How do we think about for different seasons of the year of our lives, what archetypes we want to be embodying? Because that is how I see the major arcana cards, is that we have all of those parts of us, of ourselves inside of us, and we get to decide which ones we kind of pull out and play with and show to the world at different times. So if that sounds fun to you, please join me and sign up there. If you don't already know, I'm a sex and relationships therapist and coach, seeing individual and relational clients virtually all over from my home office. I love to work with queer and polyamorous or ethical non-monogamous folks and witchy clients. So if you'd like to work with someone that does not judge you, is witchy just like you, and helps you learn how to deal with different challenges like anxiety, chronic pain or illness, communication issues, self-advocacy, and sex, head to my website and book a free consultation now to start your journey. That's at CamilleASaunders.com. If you are getting into the darker, colder, drearier season of the year and you're like, I want to be crafting, I need some indoor activities. Well, I would love to share with you my Crafting Your Own Tarot Cards workshop that is with collage. So no art skills necessary, as long as you can cut things up and glue them down with a glue stick. No worries, you've got this. So get my full workshop, which has an hour-long recording where I go through a step-by-step method, examples of all the cards I've created, journaling questions to help you brainstorm and kind of pull out ideas how you want to create your own tarot deck, and a PDF to walk you all through it for just $33. So the link is in the show notes to grab that now. If you're looking for a freebie PDF, I have a 2025 5-card tarot spread I created just for you at the beginning of this year. You can get that by joining my newsletter list, and it is still relevant. I know we only have a month or 2 left of the year, but wouldn't it be interesting to do the spread now and see what all has transpired already in the year, to see, right, to really kind of do a reflective. Maybe I'm going to do that at the end of the year. That sounds kind of fun to do my 2025 5-card tarot spread reflectively. And you can get that by joining my newsletter list. My weekly newsletter always has the most up-to-date info on upcoming events, presentations, musings, info and photos of my day-to-day life, all the things in one place every week. If you're local and want to meet me in person, you can check out my Let's Talk Tarot meetup group. And our next event is I'm still hosting the full moon circles for the rest of 2025. We just had one on November 2nd. That was so lovely. But our next one, our last one of the year, is coming up on December 7th. So you can join my colleague Izzy and I under the glow of the full moon for an evening of connection, reflection, and ritual. We meet at Thresholds Collective in Tacoma the first Sunday of the month to welcome in the full moon together. And like I said, the last date of the year will be December 7th for that full moon, and stay tuned for what's coming in 2026. If you want to make sure you get the info, you can join my newsletter list, so you will definitely get it. If not, stay tuned on the podcast, and stay tuned in December, or come to our full moon circle in December, and we'll announce what's kind of coming for the next year. And you can find the links for any of these offers in the show notes or on my website, CamilleASaunders.com/everydaytarot, in addition to the images of the cards I pull for each episode. All right, we are in season 17, where I'm talking all about autumn tarot spreads. And today I'm talking about the From the Grave tarot spread. So this spread is by the Tarot Midwife. It's called, which is the tarotmidwife.com. It's called the Danse Macabre. And it is known as the Dance of Death. So skeletons escort living humans to their graves in a lively waltz. And so this is kind of the idea or the behind this spread. And it even says, right, this is sort of our dealing with our fear or misunderstanding of death, of the death card in particular. And this, right, goes right along with like Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, or All Souls Day, or just thinking about this time of year when the veil is thin and those that have passed on are, right, maybe a little bit more available or to us to communicate than at other times of year. So they even say you can do this. You take the opportunity to kind of do this spread in a cemetery with a deck of cards or by a gravestone if you would like, because it is about particular spirits. So as we do this, you can think about perhaps a particular ancestor or spirit that you might be trying to connect with. We can also keep it more general to say like what situation in your life would these spirits like to address. So this is a 5-card prompt by Pamela Adkins, and this is on the tarotmidwife.com. So grab your decks and let's get into it. All right, today I'm going to pull from the Desert Illuminations Tarot deck by Lindsay D. Williams. And let's get into it. So yeah, this is a 5-card spread, and it is in an interesting pattern. It's basically a cross, but the cards go in not the order I would expect for the image. So let me do my shuffles, and then I will tell you how it looks and how to lay them out. Okay. All right. And you can always find the link in the show notes if you want to see the image of the spread as instructed, or the prompts from the artists themselves. Okay, so your first card goes in the middle, second goes on the left, third goes on the right, fourth goes up top, and fifth goes at the bottom. So this is what I said. It's not exactly the order you would expect. Okay, so prompt 1. What situation in your life would the spirit or spirits like to address? And again, you can think about a particular one. You can think about spirit in general, or spirits that are close to you or your ancestors. And let's see here. Okay, I pulled the 5 of Jugs, which in this deck is equivalent to the 5 of Cups. Okay, so what situation in your life would the spirit like to address? A masked bandit in a long black cape stands under the night sky in the middle of a painted desert. They are surrounded by a bunch of whiskey jugs tipped over and spilling their contents onto the sand. This is an ominous scene. That's what I first thought when I saw it. I was like, oh, of course. And it is surreal and mysterious. The 5 of Jugs is a symbolic of lost opportunities and disappointments. In life, sometimes plans fall through or situations don't turn out exactly as you expect. Instead of dwelling on the lost moments, consider how you could learn from the experiences. You may run the risk of getting stuck in the past. Remember to stay present and focused from moment to moment, one day at a time. It's very easy to get anxious or stressed out from ruminating on what happened. Practice forgiveness and patience with yourself, and it is the key to getting unstuck. Okay, that's the key. You heard it here first, right? Instead of ruminating on the past, we're going to stay in the present and think about the future, right? One day at a time. I know, as I have been talking about being in burnout recovery, one day at a time was my mantra. So that is very helpful. All right, let's go on to prompt 2. What would the spirit like you to know about the situation? I pulled the Ace of Chilies in reverse, and chilies in this deck are wands, because if you think about it, chilies are spicy and wands are the fire energy of the deck. So the Ace of Chilies, and we're going to have to interpret a reversal because this deck does not have specific reversals in it. So out of the dusty desert cloud in a bright orange sunset emerges a hand holding a bundle of red chili peppers. Since chilies come from the earth, this represents the promise of growth and harvest of new opportunities and expansion. Everything right now is a new possibility. The fire and spice of passion have been ignited inside you on a new venture, and this card lets you know that now is the right time to go for it. You have your spirit guides ready to give you the extra support you need. Listen up for their messages and signs. These spicy seeds have been planted and are ready to burst open. This exciting energy is getting you all revved up to start moving on your plan. This is the moment to use that chilly fire to fuel your journey. Be assured that you have the blessings to start something remarkable. So, right, if that is the upright and the prompt is what would the spirit like you to know about the situation, is that I think, right, that perhaps right now we've been waiting, right, for that sign. We've been waiting for the extra support from our guides, for the message. And right now, right, if we're going to move this into the upright, it's saying, all right, like now we've told you that you are supported. Now you have to do it. Right? Now you have to, right, move out of the conflict or the loss that came from the prior card, right? The situation, and right, it's okay. Cut your losses, right? It's okay. We're going to move forward, take it one day at a time. All right, for card and prompt 3, what advice does the spirit have for you about this situation? I pulled the Hermit in reverse. Okay, so the Hermit, the zodiac sign associated with it is Virgo, the element of earth and the third eye chakra. A lonesome old cowboy rides his trusty horse, following the direction of the stars. He is on his own path and he has chosen to go it alone because he is accomplished, self-sufficient, and has the knowledge he needs to point him in the right direction on the westward journey. The Hermit card tells you to take all the time you need to work on yourself and dive into your inner wisdom. If that means you go it alone, that is okay. Meditation and being in a solitary space can help you make informed decisions on what you need to let go of that no longer serves you at this point in your life. So for me, immediately when I saw this reversed, I'm like, oh, the advice from Spirit is like, you don't have to go it alone. Right? It's okay. That's not what you have to do. Actually, right, what you need to do is ask for help, right? Or, right, we can have our inner wisdom, we can do our meditation, we can have our solitary space, but actually, right, like self-sufficiency is unnecessary in this realm, right? I think that is what Spirit is telling us here, right? Actually, right, you've tried doing it on your own and it did not work, or right, it was so hard and it didn't really pan out in the way that you wanted or the way that you hoped. And that's okay, right? Again, kind of from the prior card, cut your losses. It's okay. Whatever it was, that relationship, that person, that job, that business venture, it's okay. It's done, right? We're not gonna keep pushing on something that's not working. And right, this card is telling us like, actually, you don't need to do it all alone, right? You don't need to just rely on your internal resources. You can also rely on your external support, right? We can have, again, Spirit help guide us and give us messages or give us kind of like oomph or like encouragement. But actually, like you don't have to be out here riding your horse alone. Like, you are accomplished and sufficient and knowledgeable, especially when you ask for help or when you allow in the advice and support from others. All right. Prompt 4, what will become of the situation if you follow the given advice? I pulled the 8 of Chilies. I don't think I've ever pulled this card before. A hand-painted pottery bell hangs suspended in time, surrounded by the fiery energy of red chili pepper bundles. When the bell tolls, the sound realigns the soul as it vibrates high energy. The coast is now clear to move forward with all plans. What a great message, right? The card is ringing in a time of fresh, new energy and enthusiasm for progress. You can focus on this card to set intentions about where you are headed and what you want to achieve. Imagine the fire of chili peppers in your mouth. You want to immediately do something about it. This card is the sound and feeling of having a fire in your belly to finish everything. Move now with intention, and you will be able to manifest whatever it is you want very quickly and easily. Wow, what a clear message. Again, right, here's your advice. Do it now, right? Right now. like all the high energy is here. You're vibrating on the right level, the right frequency, right? There's fresh, new energy and enthusiasm, and that it's okay to have that fire in your belly, right? I know personally, I have utilized that at times, but then also have become fearful of it because of burnout, I think. And right, this is saying like actually when everything is in line and when you're asking, right, and you're allowing in support and you're recognizing, you're cutting your losses when you are no longer, right, when that isn't supporting you anymore, actually it becomes very easy to do the thing that you need to do. Okay, parting message from Spirit, card 5. I pulled the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. We got a lot of reversals today, everybody, but actually the Wheel of Fortune in reverse is kind of like a better sign than the upright version, because the Wheel of Fortune is all about you don't know what you're going to get. The planet of Jupiter, the element of fire, and the solar plexus chakra. A fancy and mysterious Wild West Kruper holds a roulette wheel accompanied by animals and symbols that represent all the different aspects of the universe that can be randomly served up. As the wheel turns, where will the pill land? Will it bring luck, despair, success, misfortune? It is all a gamble in the game of life. The Wheel of Fortune serves as a symbol that life continues to cycle through periods of darkness and through fortune or misfortune. You only have so much control over what the universe will throw your way, and the good news is that you can adapt and react to the situations however you see fit. And I really see this message from Spirit as saying, you don't need to forecast the future. You don't need to have everything in place. You don't need to be like 10 steps ahead, right? You're going to spin the wheel. You're going to see what happens, and then you're going to deal with, right? You're going to confront, you're going to deal with whatever it lands on, right? Which is what the Wheel of Fortune is all about. Is that, right? Sometimes there's that fear in the unknown, but actually, if we don't kind of beat ourselves up because we don't have a plan for every single bad thing that could happen, it's actually a lot easier to deal with it a lot of the time, right? We start to build skills to deal with things in the present moment. And actually we realize that just trying to do so much planning and overthinking and overworking and overpreparing just adds more effort to, and right, sometimes disappointment when it doesn't work out in the future because we were trying so hard for it to work out, right? So Spirit is saying like life is just the Wheel of Fortune, right? You don't know what you're going to get. You got to keep spinning it if you want to keep going. And that actually, like, you are just as good at handling the highs as you are the lows. And like, it's okay. Like, you don't actually have control over it. And so if we just surrender, right, to the fact that life is spinning the wheel, we might be a little bit happier for it. All right. That was a very clear message. Thank you very much to the Desert Illuminations Tarot deck by Lindsay D. Williams. If you'd like to join me on the journey of using the tarot for transformation, you can click on the link in the show notes to indicate your interest, and I will send you more info. I will be doing this for the starting January 2026 for 12 months of calls and journaling to discover what happens when we want to transform our lives through the tarot. Links for the tarot decks I talk about will always be in the show notes and on my website if you'd like to look at them or purchase them. And again, thanks for joining me today on the Everyday Tarot podcast. You can email me, me@CamilleASaunders.com with your thoughts, questions, and more. And just as a reminder, the podcast comes out daily, Monday through Friday for all of 2025. All right, see you soon. Bye-bye.